So it's finally arrived. It's time for the talking to stop and the football to begin. Well, once I've done my preview, welcome to Forest versus Brentford. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to the preview for the first day, the opener of the Premier League season, as Forest will host Brentford at the world famous City Ground. If you are excited that football is back, make sure you've hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe as well if you are new. It's close to 29k. Shout out to all you guys. You can grab me a coffee as well by scanning that QR code. Boy, has it been a long few days of talking about transfers, and it is a nice change of pace that we can look forward to a football match because it's Forest versus Brentford. And honestly, guys, if you could handpick a team that you would want to play on the opening day of the season out of all the other 19 teams, you would be picking Brentford, or maybe Spurs or United. But Brentford it's an ideal situation. Everything's going wrong for them. They've lost their manager. They've lost their backroom staff. They've lost Mbuemo to Man United. They've lost Norgard VPN to Arsenal. Visser is on strike. He's not available for this game. The other striker that scares me from them is Shards, and he is injured, or doubtful, should I say. They've got their marquee signing in Jordan Henderson. He's ill. You've got Kelleher, their goalkeeper that they signed from Liverpool. He's got a knock and is doubtful. There's so many other things. The other striker they bought a year ago, Gomez, he is still out as well. So everything is lining up for Forest to win this. But this is Forest, and we know it never works like that with our team. So loads of injuries for Brentford. They've got some PE teacher in charge of them now who is a set piece coach, so no experience. Could he get a new manager bounce? Maybe. Get your score predictions in the comments. While I want to do that, I want to focus on Forest. I want to talk about what I think potentially could happen. So let's do it for the first time this season. Let's jump across to the team sheet. Excuse me. Right. This is the squad that's available to Nuno. The only injury we have is Dominguez. When I say available, at the time of recording, I still don't know about McAtee and Hutchinson. Maybe McAtee is registered. Even if he is, I don't see him being thrown straight in. So I've put this together in what seems to be the most logical setup for Forest. I don't think many of you will argue with me on the back four and cells. I think that is done and dusted. I can't see us playing a back three formation, not with Milenkovic, Murillo, Einar, and Williams all fit. Therefore, logic dictates that it should be a back four. And then the 6 and the 8 for me, Anderson is locked in this 8 position. Sangare should be starting. He was head and shoulders above most of the players in pre-season, and he is head and shoulders above Yates. Now, there will be those of you in the comments. I can see it now with my foresight. I can see, yeah, but when Yates plays, we get better results. Tell me how that has anything to do with what we see on the pitch. Sangare is the better player. And in front of that, you'll probably see Morgan Gibbs-White with Ndoye on the right, Hudson Ndoye on the left. They probably will switch it up a couple of times during the game. And I actually think he goes with Chris Wood ahead of Igor Jesus. Igor Jesus has looked okay in pre-season, hasn't scored any goals or anything like that, and I think he's still finding his feet at Forest. He's tried to play the 4-4-2. I can't see Nuno doing that in this game. I really can't. I'd be very surprised if he did. I think that's probably going to be the team. Now, would I make any changes to it? Not really. I mean, I would prefer to see this team in a 4-3-3 with Gibbs-White coming back into the 8. But a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-3-3, technically the difference isn't that much because you can play in defense in a 4-3-3 when the opposition has the ball. You could even go into a 4-5-1 formation. But the important thing for me, and the reason I want Sangare to play, is I want Anderson and Gibbs-White released higher up the pitch to allow them to be more creative. The only variation I see on this team is Wood gets dropped for Jesus, maybe. Outside of that, I don't know. Would he play Yates ahead of Sangare? I really hope not. But do you guys agree with that one? I don't think there's too many other switches I could see happening. Get your thoughts in on that team. Now, it is going to be an interesting setup. Let's just go back to the full screen here. Because, and you might as well, while that's still there, just double check you've hit the like button. Forest, I would expect, are actually going to have the majority of the possession in this game. Brentford traditionally have not been a high possession-based team. We saw last season when they came, the long ball FC stuff, that did us a couple of times. I think, did we lose 2-0? I don't know, that was in our bottling stage towards the end of the season. Forest are not coming in off good form, be it if you want to include pre-season or not. Our last win in the Premier League was against West Ham, but you know, new season, new rules is what I say. I'm more optimistic now than when that final whistle went against, who did we play? It was a Saudi team, wasn't it, in pre-season? These new signings have given me a little bit of motivation. And what I really want to see is Sangare dominating that midfield. Now that Norgard VPN isn't there for Brentford, I would expect and anticipate that Sangare can control it. What that does, it leaves Morgan Gibbs-White a bit higher up the pitch so he can be more creative, hopefully not shoot, but pass it to those around him that can shoot. I want to see Ndoye really light it up. I think technically he's looked very good in pre-season. I think he can take on whichever fullback he's up against, depending if he's on the left or right-hand side. But this is going to be a game where Forest have to show that they can break a team down. Everything points to a Forest win here. I just don't trust our team. I'm going to be honest with you. If we'd done the transfers that we look like we're planning on doing 2 weeks ago and they'd had a game or two in pre-season, I'd be feeling a lot more confident. I have Brentford to finish bottom of the league this season, by the way. We need to get off to a good start. After Brentford, we've got Crystal Palace and I think it's West Ham before we face Arsenal. There is a world where Forest win their first 3 matches. I just don't know if we live in that world. It feels like it can happen. All winnable games. I mean, Palace would probably draw. We always draw away there since we've been back up. But it could happen. But there is also a world where Forest do a Forest and we end up draw, loss, draw or something like that. I don't know. I just want to get... What I want to see, is the game. So that I can start to get to a feel for the tactics. Are we going to see this more expansive football from Nuno? Because I didn't see it in pre-season. Are we going to see more possession, more attacking, more goals? My God, can we see a goal on Sunday? That would be progress. So I'm confident but not confident because I haven't got data to judge on. Like, if this was mid-season last season, you could say, right, Nuno set up against them like this, he did this was the tactic, give it to Elanga, blah, blah, blah. Right now, it's an unknown entity. And being an unknown entity is a good thing as well, because the opposition and Brentford and their PE teacher, Keith, are going to have to try and figure out what Forest are going to do based on no data themselves. So it will be an interesting battle because you could argue the same way back. Forest won't know exactly how Brentford are going to get set up because it's a new manager, new philosophy, etc., etc. And I can't tell you what Brentford did pre-season because I'd rather watch paint dry than watch a bus stop in Chelsea playing football over the summer. But with all that said, I'm going to go bold with my prediction. I'm going to predict that Forest keep a clean sheet. And the game probably ends up 0-0. I mean, 5 out of the last 7 games have for us. But I'm going to be daring. And I'm going to say 1-0 to Forest. Yeah, we win 3 points. We beat Palace. We beat West Ham. Draw with Arsenal. That puts us top of the league. Maybe. Get your predictions in the comments down below. Don't forget to like if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed. And that's it. No more talking. I say that, I'll probably be another transfer video later on, so keep an eye out for that. But the game's tomorrow. I actually can't wait. If you're excited, get your predictions in. See you then. Come on, you Reds.